The 2023 color of the year is... The truth is, we have 10 amazing paint colors to talk about. These are the colors to look forward to in 2023. We got the color of the year, as well as 9 other trendy colors for 2023 by Glidden Paint that I'm going to go through in this video. There's some awesome looking colors in this palette, and wait till we get to the final color of the year, because I have a very interesting observation regarding it. We also need to talk about these 9 other paint colors because together they create the 2023 color trends palette, which I must say has very few light colors. There are a couple of neutrals, but for the most part, we're seeing a lot more color saturation than before. A more maximalist approach to color selection, which is mega super duper refreshing to me. Let me take you on a journey of color as I go through these 10 color trends colors, starting with some of the more safe universal options, and then we'll slowly progress to the more saturated and dynamic color choices. Number 1 is Fossil Stone, and believe it or not, this is the lightest paint color in this whole grouping. It's far from a pure white, because it's actually more of an off-white, which means you could use this as a trim and ceiling color, but it won't look like a stark pure white because it has that noticeable warmth to it. It's probably the most uninteresting or boring choice of the whole palette, but I think it's an important color because it has that practical element that a lot of people are looking for. Once you start seeing some of these other paint colors, you'll quickly realize that they're not all going to be safe for your kitchen or your living rooms, and not everyone's going to be using the color of the year in their hallway. Let's just put it that way. This color starts us off in a safe space. But I'm tired of safe, aren't you? Number 2 is Stonehenge Grayish. And while most popular grayish colors, which are colors that combine gray and beige, they tend to be lighter, generally speaking, but this color has quite a bit of depth to it, and it almost feels closer to taupe, where you combine brown and gray, yet there is that bit of yellow-beige undertone present, and this prevents it from feeling rosy or red-leaning. This paint color has a pretty neutral coloration, all things considered, although it is a lot darker than the last color, which means it's not quite as safe, and it becomes a little more of a statement piece. The good news is, it's not really going to clash with a ton of interiors because it does have that balanced feeling to it as well. Just don't put it in a dark room and expect it to feel not dark, because it probably will feel dark. Let's move towards number 3, which is Mostly Metal. This color is dark, and I tend to classify it as a slate blue, where you start with a slate gray base, but then you add a blue tinge to it, giving it that cool undertone. It's not an overly vibrant color, which means it'll still feel settled and relaxed, but unlike the last two, Mostly Metal doesn't really have any of that warm undertone to speak of. This one is branded as an excellent exterior or outdoor color choice, and I couldn't agree more. In fact, this is one that you could throw all over your house and not even worry about a different trim color in a lot of cases. You just go for that monochromatic uniform look. I would still pick another color as an accent choice for your front door, maybe your shutters or little accent pieces, perhaps a deep black, or maybe some beautiful turquoise, or even a dynamic gold yellow for a real complimentary punch. Number 4 is lighter, but a little more punchy, and the color is called Cool Clay. Don't mistake this for a boring old brown or beige or whatever. This is a mid-tone rougey tan color that almost plays into a rose gold feel. So if you love those warm metallics like copper and those kind of rusty colors, Cool Clay will be your vibe. It's a borderline gruge color, which is a rougey gray, but there's way more of that red clay than gray. There's just a pinch of it to mute it slightly, but really a fun paint color to use in a bedroom that aims to feel a little more lively. Number 5 is sort of along the same lines, except it's deeper and darker and a little more fiery. Foxfire Brown is darker, more saturated, and it has this rusty orange quality rather than that kind of rosy red from the previous color, and it's also much deeper overall. This is a color that will work better if you're into those terracottas and will feel much more like an accent color. Glidden recommends pairing it with aquas, which is an interesting take, although it will be very complementary and could be a bit too dynamic for my conservative people watching. That's why Foxfire Brown to me is a little more niche than the rest of the colors, but it's only number 5 on this list because we do have even more dynamic colors coming up. And if you're liking this color trends video, you can show your support by clicking that like button for us and subscribe if you haven't already, because we put out several videos a week on the Paint People channel and love doing it. Number 6 is dark granite, which is real dark. And even though it may look black, it's more of an off black with a super dark chocolate coloration. I see it less as an all over the room wall color and more of a great accent wall choice where you're just painting one focal point, maybe behind your bed frame or around your fireplace, things like that. Or you can even opt for it as a dark trim and door color for something a little more updated. Next we have Pine Forest, which is probably my favorite color of this whole palette. And Glidden recommends using this on your lower kitchen cabinets, which I'm a big fan of personally. I feel like a dark organic green is a wonderful update to navy blue that we've been seeing a lot in the last 10 years. Still good choices either way, but I would take this recommendation one step further and paint all of your cabinets Pine Forest. And then if you can swing it, have some form of accent island that's completely different. Maybe wood slats. I'm kind of obsessed with wood slats. Number 8 is Lazy River, which is a sweet spa-like blue that is a natural choice for bedrooms and bathrooms, but becomes a more interesting choice when you use it in areas like your family room or you're living in dining rooms. It's also a good choice in kitchens because it pairs well with soft off-whites, which your kitchen may already have, at least your cabinets, right? Unless you just watched my kitchen trends video, then maybe you don't have white cabinets anymore. No disrespect to white cabinets, people, all right? Let's all love each other. Right before we get to the color of the year and my thoughts on its selection, we have to talk about spicy mustard, which is a very accurate description of what the color looks like. It's not a bright fluorescent French's mustard, not sponsored. It's a little more of that posh Dijon mustard you'd find at, I don't know, Trader Joe's or Farm Boy up here in Canada. It's a golden yellow, but not the orange leaning honey mustard. It's very much yellow dominant, but it's also deepened with some gray, which can give it the slightest hint of a green undertone. But don't worry, the yellow will just dominate this color for sure. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. What is Glidden's paint choice for color of the year in 2023? It's absolutely, positively blue and green, kind of. It's called Vining Ivy, and it's beautiful, but here's my big observation or takeaway. It has a very strong resemblance to Benjamin Moore's color of the year 2 years ago, Aegean Teal. This color is just a bit darker and a little more blue dominant, but overall the looks are pretty similar, so take what you want from that. And before you start painting your home with any of these colors, you may want to check out the HGTV Home Color of the Year first, because it may be more up your alley. Click here to reveal those colors.